Welcome back to Tottenham on Tour. This is Player Focus. Welcome to Player Focus. I'm your host, Brian Ireland. This is Tottenham on Tour. I've got the cough, I've got Mr. Daigle, and I've got David. Mr. Positivity today is Radukin Roadman. So what's going on, lads? Good to have you here. Welcome to the channel, folks. If you're new here, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're one of our regulars, thank you for being here again. We appreciate your support. And just want to say hello to the lads real quick. So Ben, good to see you, mate. How are things? You good?
Doing good. It's been a long week. Just getting a bit of fatigue from the long week and doing some things here and there, but we're back. We're going to have a good chat. It's really good to have a evening show on Tottenham on Tour again. We've not done one of these in a while, and it's great.
Yeah, agreed. It's been ages. I don't think this is the first time this new four of us, this iteration of TOT, are on a stream together. And want to welcome David to the channel. He's been doing a lot more than I have been on the channel, at least in showing up for streams with you, Ben. So welcome, David, and happy to have you here. How are you, sir? How's things right now?
Yeah, I'm good. Things are good. Love doing this. And obviously meeting you for the first time and all four of us together. It's great. And it should be a really good show. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We got some Dejan Kulusevski to talk about, which should be fun. Mr. Daigle, my partner in crime, brother. How are you, man? Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be with you. I've taken a bit of a step back in my health, so I am exhausted all the time again. But I've had my afternoon nap, like the 70-year-old body that I've got at the moment.
Did you have a cup of tea before you came on, right?
I think I've emigrated to Florida and I've joined an old age people's home.
There you go. Ben, you want to have a look at the comments and say hello to some folks first before we get rolling?
Let's see who's in the comments then, shall we? We've got Joris from and he's a YouTube member. Good to see you. We've got Andrew Gregory, another YouTube member, checking in. We've got Shawnee Slater from the Guardians of the Pombo. Good to see you, buddy. We've got the chairman of the board of the Pombos, another YouTube member. Guardians of the Pombo in the house, the loyal ones. We have Radiated for another Pombo right here, YouTube member. And of course, we've got MZ, who is just behind David right there. She's there. See how she's there. And nice. We have Tom81, another YouTuber.
And I always have to say with Tom, look at the shirt, look at the shirt, look at the shirt.
Yeah.
It's funny. You can tell Ben's been hosting more than I have, the way he just rolls on with those comments. They're brilliant stuff, Ben. Comfortable now. Very, very, very comfortable. It's good.
And we got Nippon as well from NS Sport TV. Good to see a Nippon.
Chelsea supporter too. They love us. They love us and hate us at the same time.
Yeah.
It's gold.
Nippon hates Arsenal more than he hates Tottenham, though, so he's welcome here.
Well, there you go. So we're doing this show, Player Focus. We're going to do it once a month. We're going to pick a player. Each one of us is going to pick a player for each month, and we'll rotate through the squad. And obviously, when we get through the squad, we'll probably hopefully, we'll get to a point where we're bringing in some new players through the summer, and then we'll do we'll do some highlights of potential players coming in different windows as well. But this one's on Dejan Kulusevski, as he was very outspoken, and he came out in I forget what it was called. There was a specific interview that players go and do, and he came out and he spoke, I think, very highly of his time at Tottenham right now, and what they're going through what we've gone through as a club since he's been here. His understanding of what the expectations are as a player and winning trophies and those types of things. Quickly before we get into the specifics of it. Well, I'm going to bring up the banner first because we're doing this. So, Deki Speaks. Ben, your thoughts on just initial thoughts on the overall sort of what he was saying to the fans and to the team and to everybody, to the media as well.
It's a brilliant interview. One of the things that has been a massive downer on football is how separated footballers are from reality. You see this with players like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang with driving bright gold Ferraris, and you see all his cars. And they almost like treat themselves as like monolithic figures, like they're gods. They're not. They are normal human beings. They go through normal struggles. Oh, I'm going to Milan and I can't speak Italian. Oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. They are real people. They are real people. They struggle with the same day-to-day things as we do. They complain whatever brand of tea they have. They're either Tetley or PG Tips. And to have Deki come out and do this amazing interview, it gets you closer to the team. One of the things that's been really brilliant as a whole from Tottenham this season is we're getting closer to the team. You're starting to see a family unit build, and it's another brilliant thing to have that connection with your players. He is a normal human being, and we need to treat him as such.
Yeah, and I think some of the things he said, and David, we'll come to you on that a little bit. He spoke about obviously what happened with the Chelsea game, which I know Brian wants to talk about a little bit, but what it means to sort of go through that as a squad and to really build relationships and to fall down and to get back up together. And David, what are your thoughts on what he said? I know you've kind of skimmed through the read a little bit, but just his overall sort of thought on his thoughts on our situation at Spurs at the moment.
Yeah, I think it was a very honest interview. From what I've skimmed through, he comes across very honest in it. I know a lot of people don't like that Chelsea game and what he said about it, but you can understand why he's saying it. He's trying to say it as in, it's a togetherness of the club. Yes, we lost. We had a manner in which we lost, but we never swayed away from what our ideas are of trying to push this club forward. We are a team that wants to fight in a certain way. Mm-hmm. And whether we're 1-0 down, whether we're one man down, whatever, we're always going to try and play that same way. And I think he comes across very honest with it. And it's nice to see a player do that rather than the whole media trained style of interviews, where the generic answer is very honest, So it's nice to see that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what I got from it as well, and we sort of talked about it a little bit before we went live here. But I think there's a bit of misunderstanding about what he was saying there. And we've seen it on Twitter, and we've seen complaints about, you shouldn't be celebrating a loss, and I don't really think that's what was said. I think it wasn't celebrating the loss. It was celebrating the reaction to the bad situation and how they came together as a squad and dealt with it and still played the football they were supposed to play despite being in the situation they were in. And that's a positive because it means they understand what's expected of them from the manager. And we'll come to you, Brian, on this because we were, you had a different take and, I understand, I get that take. I just think there was a bit more to it, but curious, what are your thoughts on it?
So now, first of all, I'll come to that at the end. What I want to talk about first is, everyone's mentioned about the seriousness and the honesty, and Ben mentioned about how players are and what they go through. Listen, as they know, as everyone knows that watches this channel, we're very, very big when it comes to mental health. And to see him speaking about what his dad, his sister, the bad times he was going through.
Great, by the way. Love his sister.
I said to Ben, I think we need to get his sister and son's dad together and become some kind of motivational speakers for the club. Yeah. Because they would whip everyone into shape. But when he spoke about his time in Italy and really not enjoying it, I spoke to his mum every single day and wanted to come home every day. And then obviously the reaction to say when he wanted to find out in January if he could get a move away and he found that Tottenham Hotspur were interested, he's like, when's the next plane to London? And him and his girlfriend started crying and kissing and whatever, just from the raw emotion. It's wonderful to see a player opening up and talking to people and obviously showing that mental health and these kind of factors can hit anyone and everyone. That is the most important thing. The thing with the Chelsea is it depends how you want to interpret it. I completely get what you guys are saying. I completely get it that it could have been, we were celebrating the fact that we stuck to our guns, that we did this, that we did that. We listened to the manager. We didn't back down. We played our football. We were doing well. But I just can't accept that. Then it's not the terminology. That letter didn't need the Chelsea thing in it for me because it caused, maybe it did because it's caused the talking point with everyone saying, should he have said that? Listen, there's certain things you keep in-house. There's certain things. When you've lost 4-1 to Chelsea, and we all know it was a farce with Romero getting sent off, the injuries, Van der Ven, it all affected it. But I would never mention we were happy how a result went when we lost. Whether it was the situation, whether it was we stuck to our guns, especially Chelsea, you don't say out loud.
Yeah, I don't think he said that. I don't think he said that though, Brian. He didn't say they were happy to lose 4-1. He actually said the opposite. He said, "Don't get me wrong. I'm not happy we lost. What I'm happy with is how we played despite the situation."
You just don't say that. You don't say I'm happy with the way we played.
I disagree. I think you do say it. I think you say it because you're pointing out what was good about the reaction, not what was bad about the result. But again, we can agree to disagree. It's not a huge deal. I just think that the piling on of the loss was not the point of what he said. It was about how they managed the situation and what it meant for them going forward. I actually think that galvanized us to get through that next period of time where we were going to be without Romero, we're going to be without Basuma, we were going to be without, how many ever other injuries that we had. That it put them in a scenario where even the players who were on the outskirts before that game happened, put them in a scenario where they maybe felt a little bit more confident coming in and being a part of what was happening, because it was galvanizing. It wasn't bad for morale. It was good for morale because they reacted really well. So I don't know. I think that's sort of my thoughts on. You wanted to add something, David?
Yeah, I've just got what he said up at the moment, and the main thing he talked about and what he remembers and his favorite moment about that game is he talks about the fans. How the fans in the stadium weren't on the
cheered them off
back.
at the end of it, even though the result was so bad, right? Yeah,
that's it. The players expected boos. The players expected, the whistles, the hate towards the game type of thing. But he's saying there, he's saying to the fans, they applauded us. You understood what it meant or what the team was trying to do on the pitch. And I think that's a big thing of what the players were seeing on that day. Yes, it was a horrible loss. No one can deny that. But it was the fact that we didn't just sit there and boo them. We didn't have a go at them. We didn't criticize them at that moment in the stadium because they were behind them. They seen what they were trying to do. They had a game plan and they stuck with it, even at 9 men. And
almost won the bloody game.
We could have scored 2 goals. We had 2 really good chances that, millimeters
on another day, right? Yeah.
Like
and we talk a different story.
Like I said as well, the most important that is the one thing you can. Like I said, the most important thing for me was what I spoke about before, the mental health thing and everything that he went through. He didn't have to open up about any of it.
Yeah,
I was struggling. I was crying. I couldn't. Not a lot of players do that. Like Ben said, when players go to different countries and they can't speak the language, they struggle. They do this. They do that. That is the most heartwarming thing. His emotion, his love for Tottenham.
Yeah.
Joe, it's like 99.9% of brilliance and openness and 0.1% of, should he have said that? The bit I don't get is why people are harping on about it so much. That's the bit I don't get. It's become a big thing. Should he have said that? Shouldn't he have said that? And it's taken away from everything that was good about it.
Yeah, and I think I agree, Brian. I think that's true. I think that goes to sort of, I think, the misunderstanding of the point he was attempting to make. And again, maybe he didn't articulate it as well as he could have when he said it the way he did, and it comes off as maybe it seems like we're celebrating a loss to a rival at home, which and on any other day is an awful situation. So I get your point there. I just think that it was a galvanizing moment. So. Fantastic stuff. Let's get into a bit of the football. The great conversation that we were having about what he said about the team and his experience coming to Spurs. Let's talk about his effectiveness on the pitch. Positional effectiveness is what we're talking about here. Now, he's a right winger currently, but he's also played as a 10 in certain scenarios, and he's played on the left, I think, on a couple of games. He's been moved over there. What are your thoughts? And I'll stick with you, Brian, on this, and we'll go around the horn again. What are your thoughts on his positional effectiveness? Is he should he be playing right wing? Should he play more as a 10? You said he arguably maybe he shouldn't be starting every game. Should he be backing up Maddison as our second number 10? Because we definitely need that if Maddison gets injured again. We know we have him in that position. Johnson's sort of come into his own, and of course we'll get to player focus on him in next month perhaps, or in the next few months, but obviously another one we can talk about. But what are your thoughts on where he should be playing, and is he been effective from that right side, and is he a one-trick pony, or is he easily read because he kind of does the same bit every time?
He's a one-shot. That's a bit bad.
I just put it out there. That was my thought last season, but it's changed.
Let me start from the beginning.
Yeah.
When he came under Antonio Conte, he even says in the letters when he came, or the interview, whichever way you saw it, read it, or watched the interview of him giving it. His first couple of games was obviously the Wolves game where he came as a sub in the first half because we were so poor, and there was another game, Southampton, we lost 3-2, and obviously they were both bad games for the team.
Yeah.
But then his third game was Manchester City, and I was there. And obviously he scored that goal in the 3rd minute, then set up Kane for the winner right at the death. And ever since then, obviously, for that first season, he was insanely brilliant. Insanely brilliant. Like, he went from being a player we've just brought in to like a vital member of our Champions League crusade to qualify for top four, which we did. Then, obviously, last season, I'm not even talking last season because it was just a complete
Tough one to talk about, isn't it?
complete nonsense of a season.
Yeah.
And there was so much wrong.
Yeah.
This season, I've gone through stages where I either call him Dejan Kulusevski or Dejan Predictabiliski because it's one of the two you get. Now, one of the problems I have is everyone can talk about how incredible. Listen, his defensive work, his hold-up play, and bringing the ball out of defence is right up there with some of the very, very best in the league.
Yeah.
He's critical to the way we play because of that.
Yeah,
I
but
would say.
I don't know how critical that is because obviously I would rather see Deki doing more of what Deki. Listen, if Andrew's told him to do this, it's what Andrew's telling him to do. But I believe we need to see more creativity. Listen, first half against Villa, he was absolutely dreadful.
Yeah.
Second half against Villa, he was absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah.
And he was playing more progressive and more forward.
Yeah, the whole team did, I think, and that helped him. But I get you, and I agree for sure.
That's the thing, and it's just the time where when you look at it, I do personally think his best position is inside. When he went inside against Manchester City, I think he's more effective, can do more of the work. I think the position he plays in now, I personally want to see more from him in the final third.
Yeah.
And I do in defence. But I understand why Andrew's asked him to do it because he's brilliant at it. But I just want to see more productivity at the end.
I think what we could see him do too, and if you guys agree, but let me know what your thoughts on it are. Is we obviously play the inverted fullbacks; they come into the inside. Arguably, on his side of the pitch, Porro could possibly stay on the outside and have Kulu come inside and be there, more with Madison, and build up play and some 1-2s to get to open up some space because he's really good at that. He's really good at when him and Porro were, especially in that second half, the 1-2s between the two up the side were incredible, creating that first goal from Sarr's cross. I'd like to see him get inside a little bit more, maybe with Porro overlapping on the outside. Once they get into the final third, he can get inside and create a little bit more. Ben, your thoughts on Deki and his positional play, and do you see him as a 10? Do you think he should be moving, changing position, or does he not start? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think his best position is actually in the middle, not as a number 10, but as a behind the striker. He made his name
6 essentially, right?
Yeah, as it would be a number 10, but it's like playing beside, when he was at Juventus, he would play beside Ronaldo, and he was the guy who would hold the ball.
Basically, Teddy Sheringham.
Yeah,
right.
basically. Yep. It's basically what it'd do. Not so much like a Madison, get the ball, ping a ball to the outside and be that sort of that link and glue. He's much more of a traditional number 10, being the short man next to the big man, but he also can hold the ball up. I like him on the right-hand side, but not in this system. I think, as you said before, when he's driven out wide, that doesn't suit him at all because it means he's only got one way to go. And with Dejan Kulusevski, one of his amazing attributes is his speed of thought. We saw that
he's a very intelligent footballer, yeah.
With that 1-2 that started that move off to get Sarr away for that cross. That's total Dejan Kulusevski. Move the ball, bulldoze through, get that little space. You're off on a counter-attack. He's really, really good at that. And when you force him out into that wide position, he's almost forced to have to turn in because that's the only way he can look.
Yeah.
So he's not a wide player. He's not a wide player at all, really. He's an inverted winger. He's that sort of that, and he needs Porro to be or Sarr to be going down that out.
Yeah, somebody to fill in that width and then have him go inside. That's my thought as well.
Taking that defensive midfielder away from him, so he has a bit of space to play about and maybe get a shot off. He needs to be a bit less predictable, but I think the team needs to work with him to make him open up that space. And I think his speed of thought is excellent, and he needs to be able to use that more. Yeah,
I agree. I think it's a good shout. David, your thoughts on positional play from Dejan?
Yeah, I agree with Ben, and I agree with yourself, Brian, and Brian as well. I think our issue now with the system we play is what you mentioned, Brian, is the fact that our fullbacks, they invert into the middle, and I think it becomes overcrowded. Now, if you watch Kulu under, say, like Conte, where it was more open, he had more freedom to cut in, he had more freedom to go down the line, but he always had someone going around him, not coming into him.
Yeah.
So I think that's what his issue is at the moment. Is it because it's so crowded there? He's not being able to move the ball the way he wants to. Hence why if you watch him a lot of times, he'll cut in and immediate thought is to just try and either score or do like a big cross. But he's doing the type of cross he does on the wing, but further in, so they usually overhit or just blast it away. You know, they're not finding a target. And I think you can see in himself. I've watched a few games and I've been looking at him on like, you know, if we score or something like that, he doesn't look overly happy. He does not look happy playing at the moment. And I think that's playing a part of the way he is at the moment. So I think if he was to move in behind that striker and have more freedom there, he doesn't need to use pace because he doesn't really have it. He hasn't got pace to be a winger.
And I think what to what Ben was saying is a pace of thought, and that thought gets him. He gets him to a place quicker than his body normally would allow it. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and being in that role there, when he's fed the ball, he's got tricky feet. The good thing about Deki is he can move feet really well when players are on him. Yeah. So in that role there, he can hold off plays. He's got the strength and he's got that skill with his feet where he can just make a quick turn and do a quick through ball. Whereas on the wing, he's completely limited to that in this system. And I think that's where I think Ange, if he wants to keep Kulu here, will need to look at possibly bringing him in further in midfield and, you know, sacrificing someone there. And putting someone else on the wing, you know, just in certain games, especially low block style games where midfield are sitting closer to their defense.
I think he could do it in game, David. I think it, you know, sort of what I was saying in the final third, so Porro can overlap getting out of our end of the pitch or underlap, sort of go inside and then have that midfield, like, you know, really controlled because you've got 4 or 5 guys in there. But once you get closer to the final third, you reverse it, even if you just do it on the one side where Porro goes out wide and Deki comes in, and then you've got the width because Porro puts in a beautiful cross. I mean, he's a great, you know, great passer of the ball. And then you've got Deki inside as another sort of player in there for a 1-2. So I don't think you actually have to change too much. It's just a little bit of a tweak in the final third as to what you get.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah. That makes more sense.
That's all down to the as well.
Yeah, I think. I mean, it's Ange is a better manager than me. Trust me, but it's just me thinking of it. I'm watching it, going, "Hey, why don't you just do that?"
Managers.
Yeah, come on, man.
Ireland,
Canadian boy's going to be the new manager. It'd be perfect.
I think what you got to bring into this as well is obviously we can clearly see that the managers he's had, and let's face it, he's had a fair few since he's been here.
Yeah,
they've all asked different things for him.
He's had a fair few before getting here too, so he's had a lot of different, you know, managers.
But what I mean, it's
for a young guy.
He's been playing like we've mentioned under Conte. It's you, Son, and Kane. Under Stellini and Mason and whatever won't even go into.
Nobody wants
to. With Ange, it's clearly been right. Your defensive out or your defensive work is vital to what I want to do. Like we've mentioned for Porro, and that could be the thing. The thing is as well. You look at it the other way. If he did drop Kulusevski, well, I feel he needs to do sometimes, and he would say, "Let's play a Brennan Johnson," who's certainly doing the work that I thought he would do all along. Would he be able to track back and do the work that Deki does? I don't think he could.
Yeah,
I don't think many, and I'm not just saying, I don't think many in the Premier League could. If you go and look at all the Premier League teams and look at out or wide players that are having to drop so deep for the team and doing it consistently and regularly, I don't think you'll find another player in the Premier League. But that doesn't stray from the fact that I would like to see more from him up top.
Yeah, I agree. I think. Go ahead, Ben.
I would like to see, if we're playing against a low block side, play Deki as a number 9. Probably his best game as a Tottenham player this year was when we were 10 men against Luton Town, and he was absolutely...
He was fantastic in that game,
He was a one-man army, literally. It was Dejan Kulusevski versus Luton Town. He was that good in that game. So maybe, instead of having Sonny as the number 9, where he's going to get bullied off the ball by 3 big defenders, put Sonny out on the wing where he's more used to playing, put Dejan Kulusevski as the number... Let him have a fight with... Because I like Richarlison, but he's not someone that battles physically. He's an aerial.
He falls down too easy, Richarlison. He's on the ground too often. Deki will fight through that. I agree. I think
he'll have a go.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. I mean, he like you said, he's played there. He's ended up there because of whatever's happened previously on the pitch, whether it's a man going off or whatever the situation is, where he's been sort of forced into positions. But when he's forced into them, we all kind of see how much better he is. You know, when he went inside to the 10, I think it was early in the season. I forget who it was against, but he ended up playing in the 10 role. I'm like, oh yes, Deki's so good there, because he's not limited to the one move that he always cuts inside to his left foot and then crosses it, which he does every freaking time when he's on the wing. But when he's inside, his body shape and his ability to kind of control the ball and keep people off of it is impressive. And I love watching him do it. So I agree. I think he'd be great. He'd be a great 9. It'd be fantastic.
The games you were just talking about was Aston Villa at home and Manchester.
Oh, it was the Villa at home game. Yeah, the one we shouldn't have lost. But yeah, you're right. That's the one I was thinking of. And he was brilliant in that game. It was fantastic. Yeah. It was just an unfortunate result. Let's talk a little bit about his stats, guys. He's so far this season, 27 matches, 6 goals, 3 assists, played 2,586 minutes. His pass completion rate is 80%. Shots per match is 2.09, which I think is quite low for a winger that's supposed to be scoring goals. Shots per goal is 7.67, and minutes per goal is 431. I think, man, that's David, your thoughts on that? I think, again, it goes to what we've been talking about here, and it's the output. You know, all the things that you don't have measurements for that are hard to measure, we all agree he's really good at, with the work rate. He runs more than anybody on the pitch. His hold up play is really good. His ability to transition is really good. But these statistics, when it comes to the final third part of it, it's the thing that we want to see more of him. We've seen him score some great goals. What are your thoughts on those stats and his stats so far this season, and where can he improve, or how can he improve?
Yeah, I mean, his stats are low for Deki. The first season he came in, he had some decent stats for the time frame he was in. This season, I think it is the system, the way we play now, is limiting him a lot. And I think he's overthinking things as well. Like I was mentioning previously, when he takes a shot or he tries to do a cross, he's overhitting them or he's doing it too hard. So it's like in his mind, like we were speaking about, his mind's moving too quickly for his feet. So he's got where he wants to hit the ball, but then he just clacks it.
Yeah.
And he does really need to just add more assists. I mean, goals, they're hard. You know, we know scoring a goal in a game can be tough, but I think he does need to start adding more assists. I think that's the main part he needs to improve on, because he can assist. I mean, when he had Kane up front, it was easy for him. Ball in, Kane assists.
It says a lot about having a good finisher, though, and beside him, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think the way you play now, if you look at it, I think it limits Deki, because if you look at Sonny's not good really in the air. To be fair, we can say that Sonny's not the best in the air.
It's his weakest part of his game, and that's probably it. So
but you get that ball low to Sonny, he's got one of the best conversion rates in the world of his XG, all that type of stuff. So I think he's missed 2 big chances all season.
He's got the best conversion rate in the Premier League.
And he's got, and it's like, what? He's missed 2 big chances, because if you look at the way we play, the balls that are coming into him are fast but low. Mm-hmm. So he can take the ball, he can hit it first time, whatever. With Deki, he doesn't really do that. Like, you look at the Villa game, right-footed, ball in fast and low. Perfect for Sonny. First hit, goal. The problem with Deki is you get 1 of them, 2 of them a game. The rest are either overhit or he's trying to take a shot on. And I think that's where he needs to look at himself and think, you know what, I need to calm down a little. I'm having, like, my season ain't the best, but I need to get in the mind frame of, I know what my abilities are, so I should try and do it like this. Because we've seen him use his right foot more. So I think he's starting to click on where to improve.
Yeah.
The way the season's going and the things that are with injuries of other players and things like that, I think it's going to take a little bit longer. I'm hoping next season, if he's to stay, fingers crossed, because I do like Deki a lot.
Yeah.
We'll see a better Deki in this side, because he'll have more time to perfect the system he's in and work himself better in positions and, you know, his mind on the ball, you know what I mean? That type of situation. So, but I'm not overly worried about his goals and assists. You know, we've had an up and down season. Some players have scored more goals. Look at Romero. You know, who expected him
crazy,
to
right?
many goals he's had this season, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm not overly worried about it, but it's not a good look for him. So hopefully, if he's to stay next season, he's got to massively improve on that if he wants to stay.
Yeah, or if he wants to be continuously the starter in that position.
Yeah.
I think that's what's good about what Ange is doing. And Ben, we'll come to you on this now. I think what Ange has been able to do is with much of the other positions when we're full squad, when everybody's fit, is that he's starting to create that scenario where you have to earn your spot each week. You know, Brendan obviously got in because of the injuries. Like he played a lot more football than he was expecting, and you know, did well considering the situation, but wasn't expecting to play. Deki is expected to play, and he's not up to the standards we'd expect him to be at. Ben, your thoughts on these stats? Where do you see him improving, and how he could improve? And is the competition that is being created hopefully going to push him to get to the level he needs to be at?
I mean, for me, it's he needs to start taking on his man. I'm going to ask the same thing that I asked of Brennan Johnson a few weeks ago. Start taking on your man. He doesn't need pace to take on. He is quick. When he gets up to speed, he is actually
he's quicker than he looks, because he looks luggy, right? But he does move faster than people give him credit for.
He is bulky, because he's muscly. He's very difficult to stop when he gets up to speed. So I'd love to see him doing a little shimmy from his right foot to his left foot, making that space, and then get him behind, and then having that stretch, which would then make space for players like Sonny, for Madders.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would like to see him do. Take on his man more, because he has the beating of a lot of wing backs and fullbacks in this league. He's a very technically brilliant footballer. And
Ben, we've seen him do it before, so we know he can. It's just he's just not trying it enough, right? And maybe there's the defeated part of him that you often see with players when you try something so many times and it doesn't come off, that you kind of start looking for something else, right? And that's arguably him looking for that cut inside, which he always does to his comfortable left foot and kind of swinging it into the top corner. I think he's only scored from that like 3-4 times or something like that. So that's low percentage for him as well, considering. But he needs to figure out 2 or 3 other options or other ways of beating defenders and running at them as well.
When you're a defender, if you know he wants to go inside, it's easy for you as a defender, because defenders are all positional.
Body shape is simple, because you don't have to adjust back and forth one way or the other.
If he starts making that space and then going past people on the outside, people are going to think, oh, that's another bow to his game. Maybe I can't show him inside. Because if I show him inside and then he goes on the outside, that's me. That's with my back, with my front to goal, and I don't want. He needs to start making defenders do what defenders don't want to do, which is face their own goal. All defenders want to play on the half turn, or they want to be back to goal. They want to see everything, because defenders are a very positional sense. The moment you get them to turn, that can be really dangerous. So just get people spinning and taking them on, because he has got that speed of thought to get behind them.
Yeah, for sure. Brian, your thoughts on Deki's statistics this season, and where can he improve?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, the first thing you got to remember, and no one mentioned it, is last year he would be supplying a ball to Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Where you could put it in the air, you could put it at his feet, you could fire at him, you could do whatever. Harry Kane would be able to make something out of it if he got the chance to. Obviously, it's a big miss for the whole team. 2 moments last season showed me exactly what Kulusevski is all about, if people remember. His goal on the opening game of the season when we beat Southampton, when the ball was coming across his right and he did the little feint, let it go past him, curls it into the bottom corner. And then that wonderful assist to set up Bentancur in the 4-3 win against Leeds, where he literally showed the pace that he does have by pretending to go and then set up Bentancur for the winner. That's what he used to do. And like Ben said, I don't know if he's become scared, or this is the thing I don't get. When Bissouma made that bad pass against Manchester City and they almost scored from it, Ange Postecoglou came out and said, no problem with Bissouma. I've been telling him to do that. So I don't know, on the other hand, if Ange Postecoglou has told him, don't go wide and don't do that. We don't know. Big up, Holly, honey. I hope you're good. I don't know. I go back to the Liverpool game. The Liverpool game this season, with the 2 sending offs and the offside goal that should have stood for them. We got that winner because we kept going down the right time after time after time after time, and Deki couldn't do anything. And it's like, Porro, just get there and whip it in. He did, whips it in. What happens? Whipped in with quality, bang, goal.
Yeah, and Bright, sorry to interrupt, but that kind of goes back to me sort of making a tactical shift there to have Poro more on the outside in the final third, because his ball in is superior to Deki, and then it also puts Deki in the middle. But go on.
Yeah, but the thing I will say, I used to be one who hated Poro in defence. In fact, when I saw him in the starting lineup for United, I was with Ben and Simeon. I dropped my knees and went, "Oh my God, that's a defeat." You were with me, Ireland, actually. I dropped my, and Ben was, and I was like, "Oh no!" But ever since that Man U game, shut my mouth, because Poro to me
He's been
is
brilliant.
the most improved player in the squad.
Yeah.
But this is about, and I don't think, because if you move him forward, whether you play Emerson there or whatever, it's not the same.
It's just, I'm only talking about tactically, though, in the final third. He's still on the pitch playing normal.
Yeah,
just when you get to that final third, have him overlap, and have Deki run in.
Thing. With if you did that and put Poro at right back, yes, he would come back and help Emerson in defence because he knows how to do it. But do I trust Emerson in right back as much? If we got another right back in the summer, if we went and got a bought like an elite right winger, then you've got that option.
Yeah, I'm not saying change the formation. I'm just saying tactically in game change
I would
who
love
does
to
what.
see that, like in the final 10 minutes, if we need to get, or 15, if we need
just have Poro overlap, instead of underlap or inside, go inside, right? It's just a slight tweak that pushes Deki in the middle for that moment, especially for low block sides, because I think that's where we struggle when we play against open teams. We see what happens because we get room in behind and we can create. But when you're playing against that low block and you got to find a way to break it down, you need that extra player on the inside, especially somebody like Deki who has that intelligence to find the 1-2s to get in between the lines and really open up a team. And you've got Poro then on that outside putting those balls in, and he's just pumping them in against a low block team that is going, what are we going to do?
It's just coming to my head right now. We're having this discussion saying he should do this, he should do that. What's the bet he scores a hat-trick tomorrow? We win.
I hope so. We'll talk about him every week. We'll just pick a player. Who will score a hat-trick next week, and we'll do it.
Diane, if you are watching this stream,
come on,
remember there is a big red button you need to press. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
That would really help us.
And if you ever want to come on the show and defend yourself against, anything we say negatively, you're welcome anytime.
Dejan Kulusevski, yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, the last topic I want to talk about is team importance. I want to talk about how important he is to the way we play, not just on the pitch, but also off the pitch. I think Dejan is a genuine leader without being given the sort of captain title. He's really good in the dressing room. He's really good you can see him just with the players. I think he's a young guy, but he has like an old soul. He feel like he knows what he's doing in those difficult situations. He's played with some of the best players in the world. You mentioned Cristiano Ronaldo earlier. He's played with some really great coaches as well. I'll stick with you, Brian, on this. What are your thoughts on his team importance over and above just what he does on the pitch? You can talk about that as well, but Deki as a member of the squad.
Listen. Would if offer came in for him to be sold in the summer, would I be happy if he left? No, I wouldn't. No, I would not. I think there is a lot more to come for him. You got to remember, he's actually still bloody young.
23. I mean,
you know what I mean? He looks older.
That's what I said. Everybody think he's like,
He's 7.
He's a veteran. You think he's 28 or 29 or
something?
Yeah.
Exactly. So
he looks 28, 20. He looks older
than
me.
Sure. He does.
He looks older than 28, Ben. Trust me. He does a double act with Ollie Skip. Benjamin Button. They're going to get younger as they get older.
Looks like an old man. For sure.
His team. I think about this and I look about it and I think, do you know what? From everything you saw with that interview, I think I've seen a lot more of him to see or to see how important he is to the team. It's an in-depth look into him and the value. One of the greatest things and one of the reasons I loved Pierre-Emile Højbjerg was his first interview and how he goes, I'm a team player, I'm this, I'm that, I'm here for the team. And
the right thing.
He's come here and he doesn't look like one of these players you see on the front pages and will be for the bad stuff or whatever. He looks like a guy who has fallen in love with the Premier League, fallen in love with England. And I think in the coming years building up with Ange, if the right players come in, he could be absolutely pivotal and vital to anything we do. He really could be. Because right now we've gone years where it's the Harry Kane team, it's the Harry Kane, and if it's not Harry Kane, it's Heung-min Son. There is actually a collaboration of players that are forming right now. And from being light years away from having a decent first team and a decent sub bench, slowly but surely, and I say slowly because it's not quick enough for me by far, we're building something player-wise.
Yeah.
We're getting the right players in. Look at Pape Matar coming through. Look at
Also to add to that, players like Gio are starting to look like they want to be here, and like even though he's not necessarily playing every game, he's part of the squad. You know,
tables,
there is a
I saw that.
There is
They
a
look
big culture change at Spurs, and do I think Kulusevski may have a big part to play in it? Judging by that interview, probably yes. Probably yes. I think his importance to Tottenham is greater than what we were just talking about. I think there's a lot more to come from him, and those stats and numbers will come up. But obviously, I don't think this season. But I think he is a big player for Spurs in their future. A big player.
Yeah, I agree, and I think his importance is going to be key to some of the younger players coming in, and obviously we have the Swedish player whose name escapes me right now, but the wonder kid. That's going to be he's going to be a huge player coming in for his next season. David, your thoughts on Deki's leadership and on and off the pitch, and how important he is to the team?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you need players like this within your team. You know they've got quality. Yes, he's having a bad run this season. How many times have we seen really good players have bad runs? But overall, I think if you were to say Deki was sold in the summer, I think it'd have a big effect on the team. I think we'd see it. Because at the moment, we are like a family. And there is certain players you can look at and say if they left, no one would care. Even the players wouldn't really be that bothered. I think Deki's the type that they would affect them. Because I think he's a down-to-earth guy. He speaks honestly. And overall, he's not this type of, like Ben was saying, he's not a flashy. He's not, coming in all the big fancy cars or on the front pages of
focus is football, not the stuff that comes with it,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and I mean, in his letter, he states that he's looking forward to, being a father in London where he is now, and how he loves the place, and how this is his home now. I think next season we'll see a different Deki. I think we'll see one a bit more aggressive, a bit more attacking, and I think his numbers will come up. And I think he is vital to the team. I think he is a leader in that dressing room in his own way. He might not have the captain's armband like the others, but, some players do have that type of, what's the word? Mentality that feeds off into other players, not just younger ones, even the likes of, say, the Madisons, the Sunnies, all them, they feed off that mentality where one player could be really down and be feeling like, I'm not doing... Deki, I think Deki would be the type to go over and go, you know what? No, it's all right. You'll get there. Keep going, because
he builds him up. He builds him up. Yeah.
He has that drive himself. And I just think, we'd be stupid to sell him now anyway. You know what I mean? If that was even a question.
Like if we're building a squad, you don't sell one of your most important players, whether he's having a bit of a dip statistically or not. He's so important to the team. But 100%.
100%. I love Deki, and I hope he has many years at this club. I really, really do. I hope he's.
Arguably could be our next captain, like post Son. I mean, I know that he's not like we talked about him not being one of the vice captains, but what he does, over time, over the course of the next couple seasons with Sonny, eventually, he's going to have to move on. He's not going to be able to play it at the level. Maybe if he stays with the team, I could see him like captain material in the way he leads. I think there's something there.
100%. I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't. Sorry, Ben. I'll just say this now. I wouldn't be mad if Deki was to be given the captain's armband if Sonny was to leave, because I think he'd thrive.
It'd suit him.
With that armband on. Yeah,
I think it would suit him as well. Yeah, I think so. Brian, you disagree?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, there's people that I would never really thought of it. I've naturally assumed, obviously, it'd be Romero or Madison. You would think as the vice, one of them would be promoted. Probably Romero. I'd go more Pedro Porro. In all honesty, because I think that guy, he just embellishes everything. If I use that word right, where the hell did I pluck that word out?
I don't think so.
I don't know why. I don't know why. Don't try and use.
He embraces what Spurs are about. I think is what you're.
I'm sure embellished was the right word.
Yeah. Sure. But can I question that a little bit, Brian? I get what you're saying, but then you look at Lucas Moura. he was Coy's fully through and through. But he was
Yeah,
never
but
given
better than
captain's
Moore
arm
ever
round.
was.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
a much better player than Moore.
Yeah, I know. No, we're not talking about the play.
But I
We're talking
think
about
like
the
the way
purchase.
he's Coisy is what he is.
Tom just
Coisy.
added one. Van der Ven. I put Van der Ven ahead of Kulu, but listen, that's just that's a different. That's a different.
Yeah, I think the
yeah.
reason I would put Deki there is because of what we see from him with other players. I also think his language and his articulation and how he speaks is really important. And I think in a dressing room, especially when you're talking to a bunch of different people from a bunch of different parts of the world, you have to be able to speak multiple languages, and you have to be able to be articulate and speak in a way that's gonna everybody's gonna be able to hear what you're saying and understand it. Ben, your thoughts on team importance when we're talking about Deki, and we just talked about potential future captain. What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree?
I think he's an incredibly important in an Ange Postecoglou team. What are the players Ange Postecoglou wants are technical players and ball carriers, most importantly. And that's Dejan Kulusevski down to a T. He's brilliant technically, and he is very different. On the earlier games of the season, I was talking to a friend of the channel, Mr. Graham, and he could hear Ange Postecoglou screaming across the pitch at Udogie in particular. In his Australian words, get the ball, take it up the bloody pitch, but a lot more F words.
yeah.
That's what Ange Postecoglou wants. Get the ball and drag it up the pitch, suffocate the other team, have that ball. And that's something that Dejan Kulusevski is brilliant at because of his speed of thought, because of his technical ability, because of his strength. He can do all of those things. And he will be a very important player. Again, he's 23. It's unbelievable that he's 23, really. We've got a few players that are really young, but look like they've been playing football for decades.
Yeah, I agree.
My favourite player in the Spurs team, other than Sonny, Pape Sarr. The guy's 20. That's Pape Sarr's like 2021.
I think he's just turned 20. I think he's actually.
He's unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
For his age. He's mental. How mature he is for his age, and I think Dejan Kulusevski is like that as well, being mature. He's got that aura about him. I think it's because he does the basketball. He's got that aura about him, that he's got that sort of strength about him and that quiet self-belief that I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get through the trials and tribulations.
Yeah, and he speaks so well about it as well, and it's defining in where he's come from and where he's at, and you heard in the interview the way he spoke about it, and his work rate on and off the pitch is again, and I think that's another thing that players look to for captains material is when they see what the person does on the pitch or in the training sessions and what they do on the pitch and how that translates, and then speaking about it. He's very important for the team. He's very high in key passes, chances created, carrying ball forward, protecting the ball. Yeah, I mean, we spoke about that, and I think statistically, it's hard to measure those things, but 100% agree. And I think that's arguably why he starts every game rather than having Johnson come in or rotating those two. It's because of what he offers in those sort of parts of the pitch. So, but yeah. Fantastic stuff, guys. Player focus, wonderful show. Thanks for being here in the comments. I want to ask everybody in the comments if you guys can go to our community section and put your vote in. We'll probably get somebody to put a poll up for who you want to see us do player focus on. So we'll get you guys involved on it, and we'll do one once a month. And it'll be fun. It'll be fun for you guys, be fun for us. But great to talk about our players in our squad and the good and the bad. It's all good stuff. So make sure you like and subscribe. It's if you've watched us for this long, you liked what you heard, get in there and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button because it helps us out a lot. So we appreciate you being here, and thanks everybody. Dave, Brian, Ben, anything else you guys want to say? Ben, maybe update on what's coming up this week or after next week.
Well, next on Tottenham on Tour, we have the world famous show After a Game in Anger Management with our host, Mr. Brian Daigle, and of course, Johnny will be breaking down the game as they do every week, game by game.
My reaction will be on Saturday as well, straight after the game.
Brian's reaction after the game, and Ryan Isaac's reaction if he gets us one. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. depends on his situation, but we'll look for that as well. And we're going to try to do opposition previews. We're not going to have one for Fulham this week because we decided to do this show instead. But we're going to try to make that a regular as well. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the comments or the content. Excuse me. And thanks for watching. Cheers. See you next time.